Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Brian Galke, and we are Aces 53. How you doing, Brian?
Good.
New week, new day.
Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm good.
You got any major events this week?
No, I'm home for 2 weeks, which is nice. The only thing I got is kiddo gets out of school early this Friday.
Is it Christmas? I mean, Christmas. Is this summer break
Summer
yet?
break. Yep. Starts this week.
See my coffee cup I made?
Ah, nice.
Yeah, Aubrey. This is my new favorite coffee cup.
Looks pretty cool.
You can get that at shop.edparco.com under Operation Firewall.
Should make a banner into it. Do it. Do a banner.
Well, I'll get there when it's finalized. The biggest, we've talked about this before. First of all, stop saying and right.
So
it's amazing how many people say right after they say stuff. Even on TV, it's like, but right, and you're not supposed to say that supposedly.
Yeah, you're also not to say, does that make sense when you're on stage? But how else do you know if the audience gets
Are you following me?
Am I what?
Are you following me? Are you understanding what I'm saying?
In real life?
Shut up. You're these are other ways to say what you're not supposed to say. I want to make sure you're tracking with me. Everybody tracking with me right now? And again, nothing's perfect.
Right.
And most people will have no idea what you're doing, what you're not doing.
Yeah. Except for, the one that drives me nuts now is the person who's subconsciously selling on stage the whole time. By the time you're done with this presentation, by the time this ends, so you can always see those ones coming a mile away, which I make fun of because I suck at asking for the sale at the end. My CTAs are lacking for sure.
You don't have are you supposed to have a call to action at the end for sales?
You can just have a slide that says, hey, how did I learn this? Flashcards, one-on-one coaching, and courses. So you can mention how I learned it. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah, this is how, if you want to get in contact with me about this presentation, here's my QR code. Boom. And then it should take them right to a funnel.
Yeah.
It doesn't take them to a funnel.
It takes them to my funnel. It goes to my landing page with all the books and everything else. However, I'm working on some other ones that I want to do as well.
Tripwire, you don't have all the other stuff?
Well, Tripwire is my lead magnet, right? I mean, I say go get the cheat sheet, which is on this page, and that page also lets them get all the books, and it links to my Amazon affiliate.
I don't know how you have it set up. I have mine different for my course. I'm finalizing my actual recording of my courses. Right. My whole site's built and everything, and they built out a separate funnel for that kind of stuff to up, click here and it goes through the different levels of things you can do.
Well, when it's done, share it with me and I'll make my team copy it.
Well, I don't know why anyway.
Yeah.
I have this thing called a pod.
I know, but right now my money's already invested in the other one. So speaking of which, it'll be going live here soon, but my masterclass on Go High Level should come out on the 22nd, I think.
What is what is that? So people who don't understand what so here's the problem. There's master classes, then there's the master class of people. And then what is the high level master class that you're talking about?
They just bring on guest speakers who talk about a certain subject, right? So it's almost like a mastermind, but they're just calling it master class. So the
reason I'm saying this is because remember we had somebody else on who talked about doing a master class, and she was talking about, it was back in the day, probably a month or so ago, about doing master classes, and it's like a 4-hour thing.
Oh, yeah, that was more webinar. So this is just a 1 hour. I know.
I'm trying to explain. So this has been my issue with everything. People, it's a master class. No, it's not a webinar. No, it's a master class. About what is it? Yours is an actual master class.
Correct.
And that's, I don't like when people loosely use certain things so that we all have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I'm going to go Xerox this, and you're going to a old fax machine.
Yeah. Band-Aid, Kleenex, same thing. So they just call it, they call it the masterclass. So they release one every week, and it's got different speakers talking about different subjects. And so mine that'll come out is called like how speaking to grow your business. And it goes through my journey as a speaker. So it's just, how did I get started? What happened? PowerPoint presentation talking about it. So, and
then what do you get at the end of it when you're watching it? Because I know they had you sign. So did you have your is it live where they're doing it? Or did
they'll be doing it live, and then I can come in with questions and they'll answer questions too, I guess. And And then what do you call it? There's the 14-day free trial, all that kind of stuff. They have links on the end of it, but I did put in a QR code to take people to my landing page also for here's to get the books, the cheat sheet. And I talked about, just the journey of how podcasts helped me. First was a stage, but then really podcasts is how I got my first official stage. And then how to get on bigger stages. What else can you do to leverage, a lot of the stuff we were taught, like get your assets, promote the hell out of yourself, all the little things.
Get your assets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you also have to have a job while you're doing it.
That's the struggle is when you're getting started. I think they said the average speaker makes like $41,000 a year. And that's, there are some people I met who make, $20,000 a talk, or we know people who make $50,000 to $60,000 a talk, but that's not the majority. And those are people who have been doing it 10 plus years. And everybody sees that. It's kind of one of those things. It's like walking in and being like, I want to be CEO on day one. And it's like, you got to put your time in the trenches. So everybody looks like Mel Robbins, and she got started like 15 years ago and, did a lot for free. You can go down the list of people, but it starts with a lot of speaking for free, and then speaking for free with travel paid. And then, just 500, 750, 1,000.
Yeah. It takes time to build it. It's like anything we do, it does not happen overnight.
Exactly.
I didn't get this good on video by just yesterday.
I thought you were just good on radio, not
when they can't see me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Face made for radio. It's not the joke, but
yeah. I mean, I've been on radio since 2018. So August. So what are we in 2025? So what's that? 7 years? This will be 7 years. Yeah. And it takes a while, even building that. I mean, we're lucky. We have, you're on iHeart, radio, which is big.
Yeah.
But they still don't have the following on my personal. Someone asked me the other day, what's their speaker? How many people are listening? It's like, well, it's not like a podcast where you have downloads.
Right.
On airwaves. They can only assume how much is there. And one will say, yeah, there's 51 to 71,000 listeners potentially. Mm-hmm. And other ones will say, you have about 5,000 a show. How do you know? Oh, we're just guessing.
What's interesting, kind of talking about this right now, and depending on who you talk to, people are like, podcasts are making a comeback. Podcasts are dead. Funnels are dead. Websites are dead. But you still see people getting business from them all when they're done right. Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. My pod was talking to me. Sorry.
Oh, are those the voices in your head? Is that what you call them?
This acknowledgement, Ed. We'll have that queued on the Teams bucket.
Nice.
Well, that's the site I showed you before we came live, the CivOps Academy, which I don't know about the name. Civilian Operations Academy.
Right.
CivOps. I mean, I don't know. There was a couple of. It's really because boot camp out. I have that too, but it just doesn't do the same.
Yeah.
But the way that I'm going to grab a couple of them, but I don't know. I kind of works.
Run them past, show it to the people that just did the firewalk and say, hey, does this resonate with you or not?
Well, I got an appointment with one of them today. So I'm going to have one that's doing stuff with me, helping the brave.
See, let's see what else since we've chatted. So we weren't here last Thursday, because we both had things going on. You had a golf tournament. I was speaking at an event in Charlotte. That was fun. It was the Women in Technology, and Women of Technology in Charlotte, Women in Technology Association of Charlotte. And that one was kind of a fun one, except for I spoke the day before in Phoenix. So I was in Phoenix all day, took the 10:30 flight, got to Charlotte at 6 a.m. to the hotel. Luckily, they could get me into a room. I just went to the room and crashed till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Got up, went and spoke at 4:30, and then crashed again after dinner. Then I had to come home, and I had the high level event the following Friday. So it was a rough week last week. I flew to Phoenix on Sunday, left there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Wednesday in Charlotte, and then Thursday flew home, and then Friday did the high level event. So
the reason I laughed when you said you had stuff on Thursday, and I had stuff. You had a golf. I didn't even get to go.
Oh, you didn't get to go?
No, what happened was I had to. So we had our front yard redone, and so earlier in the week I had almost 3 yards of rock put out front, and then Wednesday night the dude tells me, "Oh, I need more rock. I got to do all the flower beds still. I need over here." And I'm like, "Okay." The only time I can go is in the morning. So I went over there as soon as they opened, and went back and forth twice for almost another 3 yards. And so by the time I was finished, it was 10:45, and we were supposed to be out there, but luckily I had nothing. This is the first year since I started in the club, 2006, that I wasn't assigned to do something or run something.
Yeah.
Because last year was the first year I wasn't. This is the second year, because last year I was president, so I just got to show up. This year I'm immediate past president, so I just, originally I had something, but they were like, we don't need it anymore, and then they gave it to somebody else.
I gotcha.
But long story, it was just like I would have loved to be out there doing nothing, and then he ended up using almost a yard of that, and then so I had to move almost 2 yards in the backyard by myself that evening. So I was hurting after that. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Just a little bit of weight.
Well, it would have been better if I was at the golf tournament, because I would have been drunk and not this.
Yeah. Progress.
So it depends. Yeah, it depends on what you want.
Yeah. All right. So we've talked a lot about you've been using the pods. We've talked about we use Opus Clips, or I use Opus Clips. You use what? What's the software you use for breaking down your podcasts and stuff? Descript?
Oh. No, Descript is part of Riverside now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Squadcast, part of Squadcast. Because
Gotcha.
I guess I think Descript bought Squadcast, something like that. No, so I use Cast Magic to break everything down. Then I use Pod Castle to have it put into, and then I put my openers and close and all music and all the stuff attached to that. Opus Clips. I've not been using Opus Clips like I was. My whole problem has been with this VA, and be careful when you start getting VAs, because Ralph asked me the other day, Ed, it just seems like you're getting the stuff done that you want to get done.
Right.
I am, but he goes, are you coming up with other ideas that I'm like, yes, unfortunately, just like the CivOps Academy we were talking about earlier, that was thought on the weekend of the Firewalk, because when I was talking on Saturday night, I talked about boot camp out. We have a boot camp in, but we don't have a boot camp out. We lose this, and it's a long story. Won't get into it here, but I had the idea for it. Use my prompt that I created for the customer's journey and everything else, and it helped me write everything.
Nice.
And it was just, and you saw it. I mean, it's just so like right on, talking to the right people that I could have never done. Okay, maybe could have, but not at the level where I'd be going, oh, it's too corny. It just did it. And it was perfect.
I can't remember if we talked about last week or not. Like I said, it was a long 3-week run, but I did a search in Perplexity just to say, like, how many jobs will be replaced by 2030 with AI or automation. And it was 30% of the jobs out there, which is between 400 million and 800 million jobs, will be replaced by AI or automation. And that's not even talking about what's going to happen to current high-paying jobs. Now they can pay people less. So it's very interesting to see what changes are really coming and how are people going to morph, because there's a lot of jobs that pay a lot now that aren't going to pay that. So, as people retire out or whatever, people just aren't going to get the raises that they wanted before. And, we've had Manoj on, and that's what he talked about, is there's going to be a utopian / communist future, which is each person will get a stipend because AI will do so much of the work.
No,
for people. Yeah.
I don't know. That's what he will not be Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's because that's what that is. Star Trek. Nobody worked. Nobody had a job. I mean, everybody had jobs, but nobody had money.
Yeah.
And they worked in that type of society. Here, I just think it's like it's another thing that we're going to use to help us be better at what we do, and be able to communicate better to people than we were before. I think it's going to handle all the low stuff that we would normally spend time on, that we normally have to have people to do, that we don't have to have those people to do. And those are the ones that are going to lose their jobs and have to get on and do something totally different.
Yeah.
Trades aren't going to go away. I mean, I saw a thing doing concrete. It was making the floors look better than anybody, but somebody still has to run it and program it.
There'll be obviously maintenance people, supervisors, but grunt work, and grunt work can be manual labor. It could be low-level entry jobs. That's the thing. Like, I think we probably talked about this. Shopify CEO, like 2 weeks ago, he's basically said, in order to get a job at Shopify now, you have to show what you can do that AI can't. And that's the interview process now. So,
local university by me, they're laying off 30% of their workforce because of AI. And teachers, I think we talked about it before. There will be teachers who don't teach, and there will be a need for an education, just that type of thing, like a college.
Yep.
Or
yeah, that's what we talked about last week, because I watched the Billie Jean and Andy Frisella interview, and that's what they're both talking about. They think the next big real estate thing is going to be people buying up buildings on college campuses and turning them into dorms, like what do you call them, lofts, condos, all that kind of stuff, because people want the wide open space, but they're just not going to have use for all those buildings because everything is so far behind. You don't need to buy used books anymore, because even the new books now, by the time you buy it, they're printed and given out, they're out of date. That's what Billie Jean was talking about, is he does those 16-week programs where, how to use AI for marketing. And he said every time he does it, he's got to create a new course because there's more tools, things have changed. You think about that, that's only 4 months?
Yeah. Look at it's constantly changing. I mean, look at Opus Clips alone. That thing's changing so much. When I go back into use it again, because I haven't used it in 2 months, I'll have no idea how to use it.
They move everything around. Yes. What's the other one? CapCut started putting in things. I was in one the other day. Let me see. I was playing around with it. It's like in-app. It was one of the, which one of the app things that you can use to, what do you call it? Like create videos and stories and all that. So, it's called In Stories. They keep adding more things to that you can sit there and create video and all that kind of stuff. So what else did I see? Apple Notes now, of course, when you're typing up your note, it will say, do you want to use Genius and I think they call it the Genius, but basically Apple's AI to fix it up. So you don't even have to leave and go to ChatGPT, because it's got its own version of it, to say, make this a better marking, So I go in after Opus Clips and say, okay, take the transcription out, go put it in ChatGPT and say, okay, make this appropriate for LinkedIn, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, use emojis and give me 5 hashtags. But so it is interesting, like the different pieces of software we use today, that before you needed a copywriter, you needed a video editor. And now it's just like people can do it on their own.
Yeah, I had was talking to Damon Limby from learnit.com.
Okay.
The company out of the Bay, he got into it. His dad started it like 30 years ago. And it was for computer stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Teach people Excel, all those things all low line stuff basic stuff people didn't know how to do. And they're still going forward the way it is, and it's just they're building and how the question is how AI is going to affect them, and he's like, I use it all the time. I was talking about what we talk about and how I've been using it, and he's like, you should teach something on that. It's like, when you I asked him, I said, well, if you need any voiceovers, let me know. He goes, well, we do, but this is one we're going to do for females, but I'll do, I'll keep, and I'm actually going over to their 30-year party in a couple weeks.
Nice. Yeah. Speaking of voiceover, so this page here, 11labs.io, that's the one that people are using to go and create those voices where it plays with the AC/DC music in the background. You hear that guy's kind of like rich voice. Mm-hmm. That's the site for it. And somebody shared that the other day and how they use it. I can't remember who I was watching, but it was interesting to see all the things that they could do with it. So you can say what type of voice, where in the world, all that. And there's a free version of it where you can go in and where to go. Yeah, there's a free trial. So the most realistic voice AI platform. So you can go in and say, hey, text to speech, speech to text, conversational AI. I want to do dubbing, do voice cloning, and then they have something called 11 Reader. And you can come back and say, okay, the voice I want is like Daniel to narrate a story, or Chris to tell a joke, George that speaks in different languages. So they've got all these little AI voice things that are out there. It's just interesting.
Yeah. Well, I still think eventually people are going to go, I'm done with this. High ticket stuff, people are going to do in person. People are going to come to you. They're not going to rely on it.
Yes.
So high ticket stuff's not going to go away. It's going to get more and more personalized to actually that person, kind of like mortgages and other stuff. Because somebody was asking me, do you think my wife's job's going to go away as a real estate agent? I'm like, no, I just think it's going to get more. I don't know if they're going to make the commissions they used to make, but they might be salaried and so much because of the continuing way that they're doing things. I don't know, but that's really hard to tell.
Yeah,
they've been saying we're going to go away for years, and we still haven't.
I still think you want someone to take you around, show you the houses. The question is all the other things that are behind the scenes. how long, why does it still take, 60 days or 45 days or whatever it is? They were talking about a long time ago with blockchain coming in that should speed up title and everything else. But I haven't.
The laws.
Yeah.
So the fastest I can do a loan I did a VA loan in 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fastest you can do it in. And the reason is when you sign your loan estimate, this is not a real estate show, but when you sign the loan estimate document, you cannot sign loan documents for 7 days according to that law.
Okay. Is that universal or is that California?
That's NMLS. That's across the whole country and everything, anywhere in the United States. So that's the fastest you can do a loan is 8 days. I've done them many times. It's not that difficult. People are just used to my house. I'm not ready to move.
Right.
I need 30 days. And so that's why people are so used to writing those time periods. We don't need those time periods at all. We can be done in actual 8 days. We're dependent on the appraiser, but sometimes we get away from not even having an appraisal. So it's still stuck with that until that loan estimate law is changed to where you can sign as soon as possible. Nothing's going to happen faster than that.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
But like HELOCs and other loans that need good faith estimates, they don't have the same thing. So you can close those in a couple days.
Yeah.
Where mortgages are different. And that's again, all this stuff, blockchain, I want it to protect you from scammers trying to steal your money.
Yeah. What did I see? I don't know the full story, but you just made me think of when you said hackers. I guess Coinbase, somebody tried to hold them hostage for 20 million. And instead of paying it, he put a bogey out that if they can help catch the hackers, that's what they'll give as a reward. So that's either going to go really good or really bad.
Really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so we're waiting to see how that one's going to play out.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just, I have no idea. I'm just looking at my tasks, how I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things left on my list versus I had like 30 on there of things I needed to do 2 months ago.
I got you.
I'm sorry. I'm just so happy that I've getting through so much.
Yeah, stuff. I was gonna say you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Because now I redid my. You redid your website. Now I'm working on redoing mine, the speaker page, the mortgage page. Even though I just redid it, I redid it again.
Did you send me what it's recommended for me?
No, you have the thing to do it yourself.
So. Right. No, I was just thinking I need to do that now that I'm home. I got that and taxes.
Just have it scan it. Yeah, just have it scan it and then tell it to analyze it. And, yeah, it wasn't much the last time I looked at it. It was just a couple of things. Yeah, I guess, and that wasn't the new one. That was the old one. So,
yeah, I'm looking Perplexity. I'm just looking to see where you. Here we go. Audience first builder.
Yeah. Okay. And then you can add to it. Tell it to do other stuff or whatever.
Cool.
But I had a friend of mine who I don't know if we talked about it. We've been all over the place the last couple of weeks. He's like, "Hey, read this letter," because long story, his dad sold him the company and he's letting everybody know. And I'm like, I don't want to read it. I don't. Here, I sent him that. I said, just drop it into this before I even look at it. He did it. And he was like, holy shit, what a difference.
Just a slight little.
Yeah. And it wasn't the regular ChatGPT. It was. So the thing is, most of the time we write so much about us and not about our client. And not about the journey. It's all biased about who we are and not them. And then I did my PowerPoint I talked about it before for my Operation Firewalk one day for Rotary, and then had it redo it the next time for all the veterans and first responders at the actual event. And it was a totally different words, just a little different take on it. And that's why you want to make sure you focus on your customer's journey and the words that they're used to.
Right.
And your call to actions are not yelling at them. Let's come along the journey with us.
Well, you said that even on radio. What is it? The word you use? You?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
You.
Yeah. That's what I read in books all the time. And I'm thinking, okay, in my head, I need to say I, but I'm reading you in the book because the book is written for the masses. So.
It's still you or I. It should be written for the masses. You follow me? It still should be written just for that one thing. And but again,
I know. I'm saying it's when I'm reading it and in the words, it says you need to, I think in my head, I need to mentally change it to I need to, right?
Or just you, because they're talking about you. You understand that? That's your pronoun.
That's what pronouns.
That's why everybody's like, what? These are my pronouns. Yeah, you is your pronoun.
Yeah.
Thank God that stuff's over.
All right. Sorry, I had to stand back up.
All right, you do
fighting, falling asleep.
Again?
I just didn't sleep well last night.
Yeah, last night wasn't bad. It was the night before that. I fell asleep and I had a stupid dream, and then I couldn't fall back asleep. So yeah, I was scared.
I woke up. I just had a bad night Friday for a variety of reasons, and then last night same thing. And I tried to go to sleep, and it's my own fault. And you're gonna yell at me for this one, so I'll go ahead. It was my daughter's recital on Sunday, and we did some other things, and then I went to the gym. So at 6 o'clock, I was really falling asleep, and I thought, okay, should I get Starbucks or just drink like this much of an energy drink? And I drank neither. I needed something. So I didn't want the cracked out stuff they have at the gym. So I was like, okay, I'll go get a First Form. It's not, they're all bad, but it's a better bad. And instead of getting Starbucks, and I only drank like a quarter of it. But man, I didn't go to sleep last night and this was at 6 o'clock. I probably went to sleep at 3 to 5. And I woke back up and fall asleep, woke back up. So tonight I'll be crashing early.
Or how about this? Next time, don't take that.
Yeah.
What did you have something last night you actually had to go to?
I was going to the gym and I was tired. So, but then I took it and realized the gym closed in 30 minutes. I was like, oh, mother.
How's your ice? You still doing your ice bath?
Yeah, I had to get one replaced. So I was gonna light them up because I've had to pump air into it every other day since I bought it.
Did you get a new one? Didn't they send you out a new one?
They finally sent me a new one, and it got here. And so when I got home Saturday, I took the old one down, put the new one up. But I realized today I haven't because like I said, I couldn't sleep. I tried sleeping upstairs, came downstairs, and that wasn't working. And finally, I just got up at 6:30 and like, screw it, I'll start working. And normally when I get up, I do coffee or do a protein shake, then go downstairs, ride the bike for 30 minutes, and then hop in the cold plunge. And I haven't done that today. So I'll be doing that after we get off here.
Well, one of the things they say about the cold plunge is not to do it closer to the evening because it can mess up your sleep.
They said within 2 hours, don't do it within 2 hours of what time you're going to go to bed.
Yeah, because you got to warm back up unless you jump in the shower.
Yeah, something about 2 hours, but I've got a massage at 7:30. That's one person I'm texting with right now. So I'm like, okay, I haven't had one in forever.
Okay. Enjoy your happy ending.
Yeah. It's funny. I keep seeing those getting busted on the news all over. It's like another shady massage parlor. I'm like,
in Texas?
Everywhere. But yeah, especially there's an app here called Dallas, Texas TV, I think. And so it tells you everything that's kind of going on. It shows crazy stuff like cars on fire in Dallas, just all kinds of stuff like that. So let me find it. Dallas. Yeah, Dallas, Texas _TV. And so it's like, oh, look what I passed today. And like, it's a car there, like driven into. So it's just all the crazy stuff people capture. Let's see if I can find the other one. Yeah, like just, somebody driving down the street with their hood like this.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So it's just the crazy
only in
stuff.
Texas. Only in Texas. All right, let's call it a day. Nobody else wants to hear about that.
Oh, they love knowing what's going on in Texas. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, well, we don't know who our Joker is this week.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out.
When you wake up.
All right. Well, everyone, once again, thank you for joining Ed and I on Aces 53 on Tuesdays like today. It's just Ed and I having a chat back and forth. Thursdays when we bring in a special guest we call a Joker. That's somebody with a skill or talent that we believe you guys can benefit from. If you are one of those who wants to share some information, reach out to Ed and I. Happy to have you guys on. But thank you for joining us. And Ed, thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And we will talk to you on Thursday.
Yep. Bye, everybody.